What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking after for the future of this company. I'm also going to break down where I see the share price going for tomorrow and also what happened today, because we did see the entire market almost collectively did see a big drop followed by a massive rally at the very end, and that was because of what was announced during the FOMC meeting by Jerome Powell himself. And I do have some very big updates involving what actually went down from that meeting. I'm also going to talk about what's going on with the man, the myth, the legend Elon Musk's Twitter page, as we have a new profile picture and also a very important tweet he liked that can be a big indicator of something coming out for Tesla in the future. Now, before I break any of this down, before I talk about Elon Musk's tweets, before I talk about where I see Tesla going, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. The first thing is I'm not a financial planner, so please don't take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. The last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below in the description. If you sign up for Webull with the link down below and deposit any amount of money into the account, whether it's $1 or $100, it's up to you. You are guaranteed 5 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000, and you could always sell these 5 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some Tesla shares for free. This is a limited time offer that ends in just 7 days, so please check it out to get your free Tesla shares. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So, looking at Tesla, we were up about 4.77% for the day. And the interesting thing was that we were kind of red for the majority of the day before at the very end. I would say the very last hour was very parabolic, maybe the last hour and a half. And we got a really nice push after that. So I want to talk about this in a lot more detail. But you could see the entire market, if I actually look at the 1 day chart, the entire market was very, very similar. Now, in my previous video, I told you I predicted Tesla would see a bit of a drop today, followed by a massive rally, a big explosion in the share price, which just means the share price soars after the FOMC meeting. And I gave you guys my rationalization as to why I believe that, and that is what ended up happening. The only thing I got wrong was where we ended up bouncing. I predicted we'd bounce around $870 because that's what technicals showed. We ended up actually holding up a little bit higher than that and bouncing off $885. So huge shout out to Tesla. They did very well. And I do see this thing continuing to move to the upside. But let's talk about the market. What's going on with the SPY? What's going on with everything? The SPY was very similar. We saw this big drop on the SPY down to $413, followed by the big bounce. And the market saw that big bounce because of what ended up happening today. So what happened today was, first off, in the beginning of the day, early, I would say maybe an hour and a half after the market opened, President Joe Biden was speaking about supply chain issues and some changes to policy, but he didn't say anything that was kind of over the edge, so there's nothing to really worry about. But that's why the market was pretty shaky and kind of sideways from the very beginning. Then it started to drop and drop and drop as Jerome Powell started speaking. Jerome Powell is the chairman of the Fed, and this is due to some fear, uncertainty, doubt, loss of anticipation of what was going to be happening. And as a result, he ended up saying things that caused the entire market to rally based off the change in monetary policy. So I want to break that down for you guys real quick before I talk about Tesla's share price. So if you were watching my previous videos, I put lots of emphasis on today, because today was the big day of the FOMC meeting where the new policy changes, the monetary policy changes, which comes from open market operations by the Fed, they were going to be announced, the change to what they were going to be doing. They were announced by the chairman himself, Jerome Powell. And what ended up happening was, just as we predicted, just as we expected, a 50 basis point rate hike, or a 0.5% hike in the federal funds rate, which is increasing the cost to borrow money in America. Also, it's going to be used to address inflation. So I told you guys that based on what many analysts found, there was a 98 to 99% chance we'd get half a percentage hike, and that is what we saw. It was very unlikely we'd get that 75 basis point rate hike, and considering the fact that it was already priced in, and also the market came at such a, how should I say, downward trend. The market was at such a low point when we actually entered this FOMC meeting. I expected a nice bounce because the market loves certainty. People thought I was crazy. People thought the market was about to crash. And I tell you, here's my take on the market. The bear market isn't over, okay? So don't say that, oh, we're about to rally to all-time highs. I don't see it that way. The bear market isn't over yet, because Jerome Powell did announce that this is not the final rate hike. There are going to be more of these rate hikes. So generally, when the Fed has anticipation of rate hikes, they have to get priced in, so the market takes a bit of a hit. And also, these rate hikes are not technically good for the market because they make bonds look a lot more enticing to institutional investors. But once it's already priced in, then the market often could rally after that if we if the changes are not too dire or too hawkish and we expect them. So in this case, we were not caught off guard. We expected this. This was already priced in. So the market responded, I would say, quite well. On top of that, they're going to be reducing its bond holdings by $95 billion a month. That just means that the Fed is trying to turn the market in a way where the market doesn't depend as much on the Fed as it did before. So, since the pandemic started, our market would have collapsed. It definitely would have. So the Fed came in and saved us by printing money. They also ended up buying tons of bonds. They have a massive balance sheet, and they need to start reducing it so that the market becomes more independent and a lot more sustainable that way. And as a result of the changes they made, obviously inflation went up, and now they really need to do something about that. So Jerome Powell did talk about the fact that they are going to keep fighting against it, and depending on what happens to the inflationary data, we are most likely going to see more rate hikes in the future. So just know that the red we saw over the last few weeks is not the end. It's not over just yet. It is going to come in the future. I estimate it to come back maybe as we approach June to July. There could be some red, but until we get to June, I think the market is going to rally, and I think it's going to rally pretty hard for the next few weeks. So get ready for the party. I think it looks really good, and as a result, I expect Tesla to rally as well. So what does this mean for Tesla going forward? Well, Tesla is a very bullish stock, and it does not always follow indicators quite perfectly. So that's the reason why support and resistance levels sometimes change on a day-to-day basis of this play. But if you look at the 2-hour candles, here's the simplest way for me to put it. I made this chart very simple. You can see the prices here, support and resistance levels. I know it looks kind of messy, but I like to keep as many as possible. In fact, I could actually delete the ones on the bottom. I'm going to do that a little bit later. But the big thing is this right here. I drew a trend line. This trend line is showing this upward trend we're starting to follow, and we're following it very, very well right now. So I would expect going into tomorrow, we end up still following this trend line. I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla dips a little bit. We could go as low as obviously the $910 to $920 range for getting a nice bounce. And I would expect this thing to actually bounce to the upside. And it could really go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit red or a little bit green. I wouldn't be surprised if we close around 960, maybe as high as 970. But this is just one day. This is the day after the FOMC. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing actually pushed even higher. I mean, I know this sounds like crazy, but it's possible for Tesla to push to the $980 range. It's very possible we push very high. So as stated before, I expect a bit of a pullback for some time before this thing bounces and starts pushing really, really high up. I'm not going to make the perfect call just yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if this thing pushed to the $970 to $980 range and actually closed around there. So I do expect another green day. I think it's very probable. Is a red day possible? Maybe you could argue that to cool off the RSI, but I just think that's less likely. I think we're most likely going to see a green day, and I think Tesla's looking pretty darn good right here. If you look at the RSI, this thing was oversold at our bottom. The oversold range was only at that 20. Then we ended up pushing up and up and up, and now RSI is at 59.67, which goes to show the RSI is not in the overbought territory just yet. So the way this thing runs, we touch the trend line, we go up, down a little bit, up and then down. And from here on out, we might have a slight drop. Like I said, probably won't be that bad. Maybe like a, I don't know, $20, $30 drop before a very nice bounce. And this thing is probably going to just start pushing and pushing and pushing. Wouldn't be surprised if we hit 970 to 980 tomorrow. Maybe we touch 1,000. Maybe it's possible. I'm still very, very bullish. For the macro perspective, I think for the next few weeks, the market's going to be very bullish. And I see this thing easily breaking past 1,000. And we could be approaching that, I don't know, that high $1,000 range very soon. I would not be surprised if we see Tesla in the 1,050 to 1,100 range in the next, I don't know, week or two from now. It's very, very possible. It looks very, very bullish right now. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is Tesla looks very bullish, but also there are many things changing in the dynamic of this business model as this company keeps on innovating and coming across new ideas. So if you look at Elon Musk's Twitter page, and I can actually show you something very cool about it. Let me actually do this real quick. Looking at Elon Musk's Twitter, we can see right here he has a new profile picture. It's the ape coin. That was pretty funny. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because at the end of the day, Elon Musk looks a lot more explicit. He's less likely to have to hide things, and he just likes to say what he wants on his mind. He does not have a filter right now, so I really respect what he's doing, and it's very, very amazing. So, anyways, involving Tesla, he likes this tweet. Elon Musk liked this tweet. It basically states that when people get mad when new technology is just accessible to the rich, they're missing the big picture. I understand the point. You can agree or disagree with that. But here's the big thing. Estimated smartphone users worldwide. It went from 1.1 billion in 2012. And I apologize if these numbers are too small. You may not be able to see them, but then it goes up. So in 2012, there were 1.1 billion smartphone users. By 2018, it was over 5 billion. And by 2022, it's over 6.6 billion. So there are billions and billions of people connected through these smartphones all over the world. And as a result of that, the fact that Elon Musk is liking tweets about smartphones and there have been so many talks about the Tesla phone coming out, I wouldn't be surprised if this does end up coming out one day in the future. So, huge, huge, huge thing out there that could be an Easter egg. Who knows? Besides that, things are looking amazing for Tesla. Very, very bullish. And as stated before, we may not even get that pullback, but the trend is showing a slight pullback may come just for parts of tomorrow. I can't guarantee that, followed by a big rip again. Wouldn't be surprised if this thing goes as high as 970 to 980 and closes there, and we could even touch 1000 tomorrow. It's very possible. It's going to be tricky, but it's looking very good. Very, very bullish. Some could argue that we may need a bit of a cool off. That's possible too, but I find that very unlikely. I think we're more likely to just push to the upside, see a nice, nice, nice green day. And Tesla and the market are going to be pretty bullish for the next few weeks, in my opinion. With that out of the way, I want to thank each and every one of you for listening. Please stay calm, cool, and collected. Please note that Tesla is getting better and better every single day, and the future is still incredibly bright. Even though this quote unquote bear market is not officially over yet, even though there are going to be small pockets of very bullish price action, followed by maybe some bearish price action, despite all the chaos in the markets. Okay? Don't worry, because Tesla is going to make a very good comeback. This company is going to soar for the long term as they get better fundamentally. And for the short term, there's many more opportunities if you know how to day trade or not, or even swing trade or scalp. That's up to you. I did scalp some Tesla options today, made a lot of money off of that. So feel free to keep on learning every day. Look at the opportunities that are coming. And if you're not a trader, just sit back and relax, because this company is going to soar, in my opinion, if you're calm, cool, and collected and patient. Non financial advice, by the way. But, anyways, thank you. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Get ready for tomorrow. I think Tesla is going to soar to the moon. Tesla to the moon, and peace out.